this video, we'll be going over the fire bowl and planter basics. In this segment, we will be hand pressing the bowls. Okay, our molds have been prepped and now we're starting to lay up our concrete. I always start in the bottom and I apply about an inch and a half of material in the bottom. And what you'll do is you'll just continue to work it all the way across the bottom. And once that starts to set, just kind of distribute it all the way through evenly. And then just start at your low point on the walls of your mold and just start to work your way up. But you don't want to do it all in one consistent run as far as adding material. If you notice, I'm getting different size, somewhat of like a ball, and pressing it up against the side and smearing it. This is going to achieve little pockets up against the mold and in the material itself. Just gives it a real nice rustic look. Okay, what you want to do is just continue around the side of the mold and just keep stacking and set more material in, stack, press in, stack. What that does is around this area you see me applying the mud now, I usually put in a little bit more material right through here, probably about 1.5 inches or so. But what you want to do is coming up the wall is just stay pretty consistent with the thickness of the mix. Like I said, roughly 1 inch to 1.5 inches. What I do is I usually just set the ball of material up against the edge and press it with the back of my hand. And what you're going to do is you're going to work it all the way up to the top of the mold, as you see I'm doing right here. And I'm just using the back of my hand and pressing and shaping the top as I go. There is no set way of doing this top. You could have it totally irregular, you could have it rough, you could smooth it out. I usually break mine out of the mold and then I'll use a grinder once it's dried and cured, and I just shape the top. Just smooth out the bottom part of the bowl, make sure there's not too much material, and just keep shaping. And if you want to pull some material from the bottom, if it were to fall or whatever, you can do so. But you pretty much just keep stacking around the edge and pressing until you get the shape and thickness that you want. And with this fast set, it's pretty forgiving, so it's not going to just start falling off the wall. Now if you use regular concrete, it's going to take longer to set. It really becomes clay-like after about 20 minutes of being mixed. So you really can shape it to pretty much whatever kind of shape you want. As you see, I'm just basically just rubbing across the top with my hand. I see any areas that might need a little bit more material, just add to it. The inside of your bowls do not have to be perfect, because this is either going to be filled up with topsoil, or in most cases, with it being a fire bowl, it has a gas burner on the inside and it's filled up with either glass or lava rock. So this is not where you want to focus, beautifying the inside of the bowl. You want to put all your beauty and time and effort out on the outside, which is going to be seen at all times. You can kind of keep in mind that you're probably going to come down about 1.5 inches or 2 inches down from the top ledge that you'll be able to see no matter what kind of material you put in. So just kind of beautify that a little bit. But the bottom side, it doesn't matter. Once you get it pressed up, what you want it to do is actually move this out of the way. If you want it to pick it up and move it elsewhere, like to another bench while it cured, I would recommend getting a piece of board just as square as the bottom so you could pick up from the board, not the actual sides, because with these plastic bowls what it'll do is it'll flex and it could cause cracking. But what I do if I'm going to be moving it to a different area is just get like like this one here is a 22-inch wide bowl. So what you would want to do is cut a board 24 inches by 24 inches. That way you can reach over and grab it from the sides and carry it and set it down. That's actually a fire bowl that I just did. Now I'm going to press a planter. It's a lot faster. It's not as much material because it's just going to have topsoil or planting mix and flowers in it. It takes exactly a 5-gallon bucket full of mixed high-strength concrete mix to create 2 fire bowls from these molds right here. So on average I can get 60 to 70 pounds of concrete mix in a 5-gallon bucket depending on how much I hydrate it. What I recommend doing is just using a 60-pound bag. You can get the 80-pound bags. You'll just have a little bit left over in the bag, but mix it like I showed you in the beginning. Just continue to get used to the mixes, try different mixes. If you work a little bit faster and you get really comfortable, you can do more of the fast set and less of the regular set, and these things will set up so much faster. I've done it before to where I can actually press it and break it out in 3 hours with no problem. There are some mixes that you can do it even faster than that. They're just harder to work with because you have to be really on your toes when you're doing it. I highly recommend also that when you try different mixes and maybe set times that you take notes. Just get a notebook for all your mixes, jot down how long it takes it to set, how fast you were able to break it from the mold. This will just make you better and more efficient, and you can up your speed and your breakout times. We offer an advanced techniques video along with an advanced mix video that has all your different add mixes that you can use, and also an advanced colorations. So what I recommend doing is just starting out with the basics, and then whatever you want to add to, if you want to add different colorations. We are in the process right now of putting together brand new videos for some really mind-blowing colorations. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to continuously be adding to this, so just keep checking back for all the new material. As you can see, this planter is nowhere near as thick as the fire bowl on the far right of your screen. I'm not using nowhere near the amount of material. I recommend that if you're going to do a fire bowl planter combo, start out with your fire bowl first. That way the mix is a little bit more workable, and then as it's setting up in the bucket, when you go to actually do your planter, it will actually stand up on itself. When you're pressing these, you don't want to press too hard up against the side of the mold. What you want to do is you want to leave that packing. When you go to press it in, you're going to create porosity in the actual concrete surface on the outside, which you'll see when we do the breakout. And that's the texture you want. The porosity is going to cause that texture and gives you that rustic look. So try not to press too hard to where the concrete is really smooth on that mold, unless that's what what kind of finish you're going for. Okay, I'm just going to let this go ahead and play out. There's a lot of different things you'll see that I'm doing using the back of my hand, actually smoothing out with my fingers, and you'll just see I'm almost done here. We're finishing up. Going to actually clean out the bottom of the bowl itself. and use that material on the sides to strengthen if you have any low areas or areas that needed to be thickened up. Now's the time to do that. But just continue to watch the video and you'll see different things and different ways that I use to shape. A few final things before we end with the pressing technique here. If you have any loose material such as big pieces of aggregate or the concrete, just press it right into the side. It's not going to hurt anything. It'll just make it easier for you whenever you do the next technique I'm about to show you. So we're almost done here. Pressing these bowls doesn't really take the whole lot of time. We're done. We're moving right on. Okay, this is just a pump-up sprayer. It's a hand pump-up sprayer. You can get them from any home and garden, any hardware store pretty much carries these. Just have it filled with water. I prefer a number 2 chip brush because you don't move quite as much material around, because that's not what you're wanting to do. You're just wanting to close up and smooth out the material. So you just spray it down, give it a nice spray down, and then you're just going to start working the material as you see here. You'll see that I use 2 different techniques. One technique is I'll use a dabbing motion to kind of just set the concrete and smooth it out, especially in like the lower sections. Also, I'm barely letting that bristle of that brush touch the concrete, and I'm going to close up my edge. What I mean by that is you're going to work the concrete to where it closes up on the top part of the mold itself. That way, whenever you go to break this out, the edge is going to be strong, so it allows you to have something you can grind on to give your feather edge, or to cut the top smooth. I usually use on this size bowls anywhere from a 2 to a 3 inch chip brush, not anything any bigger, just because you move too much material around. Also, this is just another view. This is actually what I'm seeing. Just wanted to kind of show you from this angle as well. When you're working the edge, like I'm doing right here, you might, if you see it fall forward the slightest bit, just press it back and just continue to brush on. It's not a big deal. It's not going to affect anything. You'll see right here I'm actually using my hand at times as well. You're going to see that I'm going to press in some of the bigger rocks that are exposed, press them in deeper, just where they're easier to deal with, just like right there. And then I'll just smooth it right out. Okay, we're finishing up now. What you're going to see me do next is I actually used to drill these. That way if it rains, it will weep out. What I'm doing right now is just pressing directly in getting the size hole that I want, press all the way to the mold. If you can see, the mold release is working and doing like it's supposed to do. There's absolutely no concrete now up against that mold. So I just do that on both of the actual pieces, and then I don't have to worry about drilling it. Just saves a little bit of time. Now I'm just going to spray everything down. I've got it where I want them, and as far as the look, like I said, on the inside of the bowls, we're not going for perfection. We just want it to be neatened up slightly. But this is what they should look like. What I'm going to do now is just put plastic over top of it. That just holds moisture in, keeps anything from cracking or any shrinking. From this point on, we just wait. I'll probably break these out the very next day. Once I put my plastic down, this is a product that I found one day in a sporting goods store, and it's actually a roll of Velcro, and they use these on soccer nets. They wrap the netting around the poles, but it's from Quick Gold, and you can actually order it online, or like I said, go to any of your sporting goods stores. And what I do is just unravel the entire roll, and I've been using this thing for years. And what I like about this, it doesn't matter what size mold you're using, so you don't have to deal with bungee cords being too short, not, you know, just, or either too long. So all you have to do is just wrap it around the molds and pull it tight, Velcro it out, and then you're done. Up next is the mold breakout and color prep.